So CK bhai, we are talking about multiple farms and getting all the multiple entries during the competition. I like to question you on why you are not sticking to one particular farm, or maybe why multi farm discus are been imported on a regular basis. I see in last 6 to 8 months there were quite a number of imports coming from a different farm. I understand there is an one of the major issue while importing from a multiple farm, that is cross contamination. So how did you manage to pass through those cross contamination phase? You talk about medications and water conditions and everything. So over to you. Why multiple farms? What helped you? What not?
Okay. So see, like I said, I have a lot of practical knowledge, means my own on-hand experience, how to avoid something, how to notice something and stuff like that. Eventually, you will always go to whatever the term is, I believe, generic medicine. So you will go to generic because the expenses are so big that you cannot really afford branded liquid aquarium conditioners.
Right, you said of the 17 rupees bottle can cure whole aquarium.
Yeah.
And same medicine is available in 20,000 a liter.
Exactly. So what happens is, over time you learn all these things. Earlier I used to spend, I believe, in the 2020, 2021, 2022 period, I used to spend 10,000 a month on aquarium medicines. And then over time I was realizing that I was losing my fish, and a lot of them were not doing the job they were supposed to do. Eventually I moved to generic as and when seniors kept guiding me. After the expo, I got exposed to many seniors, means many seniors came to know about me. So they started dropping in and telling me about what medicines I can use and stuff like that. So I started using those medicines and actually saw good results, mostly because over time you always have to go to generic. You can't go on spending lakhs and lakhs on Discus every month. You have a house to run, so you will eventually come down where you can save. You will come down. Eventually one guy even stopped supplying me conditioners because of something in the between. I tried to help one guy clear his stock of food, and then it affected the other guy. So in between all this, there was a cold war. There was no fight or anything, but there was a cold war. And then I from Amazon got the powder form of the conditioner, and I got the distilled water, and I made my own conditioners, so I managed to do that. So I have
that
observation.
That was really pocket friendly suggestion.
Yeah.
Right?
So eventually in the the idea is to have very expensive Discus. Here somehow the people want the cheapest Discus, but will spend as much they want for the conditioner and all. They spend tens of thousands, but the Discus only they want cheap. Mine is the opposite. I will buy the 10,000 Discus. I will buy 25,000 rupee card Discus, but I will save money on the looking after, because over time that will save me more money. And I am a big fan of Discus. Thankfully I have no budget, means I have no budget or limit. If I like a Discus, I will buy it by grace of God. We have suffered enough, so now the good times are there. So that being said, I myself realized one thing, that over here what happens if you blindly trust anybody to send you Discus. I am not talking about branded ones like IP. Suppose now you go to Pranav and you select a piece, he will send you that piece only. I know him from 7 years, so he will send you the piece. But when I select a piece, no, those buggers will show me one piece and they will send me other piece. It looks like that. Chalega, ye thoda halka hai, isko ye bech do. So I am now of the firm belief that where it comes to me, see what happens is, as soon as that GC tag came, one big target came, like how Russia bombs Ukraine. I got bombed on this end from all these guys who are वो लोग खुद नहीं जीते, वो लोग कोई तो टेक पार्ट भी नहीं किया, पर मेरे पे जलने में कोई कसम नहीं छोड़ा ये लोग ने. So there was lot of problems for me after the GC win, along with the, I got recognition, but I got recognition from both ends of the people, both extremes.
That is part and parcel of the trade. Once you are famous, they'll like to screw you from everywhere.
So what happens is, sometimes, I have among people who come, I don't make a profit margin, so I can't call this a business. Whatever Discus I have, I took a note that because people who are getting sent bad Discus and all, I will give Discus to everybody. I will not say no to anybody. So I follow that path, that whoever wants, they can take my Discus at the same price I paid for it. I've taken another oath that I will never buy from here. From here I will only buy for commercial purpose. Bhai, तुमको अगर ये भाव में पूरा का पूरा stock देना है तो दियो. Otherwise I am not interested. That is purely commercial. But for my own hobby and collection, I will shop only abroad. I do not trust a single person here other than Pranav Pandav, that is.
But CK bhai, when we talk about multi imports or multi farm imports, you had imports coming from different farms. So just wanted to know how you maintain that not to get cross contaminated from from, or maybe from tanks to tanks.
Yeah.
So did you handle a tank individually, or how how you plan
so
to do
yeah,
that?
so when the imports come in, that is the imports come into the importer who has the license. I buy locally, I buy from the guy who imports. So he imports and then he sends me the whole box. It's easier for him. Instead of selling to 20 guys, one guy takes everything. So I was buying on that basis. Now what happens is, when fish come from different countries, they come from different rivers, different bacteria. For example, today you are standing in middle of Sahara desert, tomorrow I put you in the middle of Kashmir mountain, you will suddenly feel from hot to cold. Now if you if you are sweating and you suddenly come into AC room, you will freeze because the water suddenly becomes cold and your body becomes chilled. So same way with discus from different countries, they have different bacteria, and the bacteria of one discus can easily kill the other discus who are not immune to it, because these discus have grown up in that bacteria. These discus have not grown up in that bacteria. Unless you medicate correctly, there will always be a problem. So for my like I said, I always went generic, and for my quarantine of just before a new shipment used to come, I used to chuck in chlorine tablets in the water. You get chlorine tablet, I think 50 tablets for 400 rupees on Amazon, bacter free or whatever it's called, and then the chlorine kills everything. So I run that in my tank. Then I water change. Then
So
I
first step would be getting the tank disinfected through chlorine tablets.
Yeah. So since I have filtration and I use PP, if I use PP, what will happen is everything will become purple and all, and everything will become brown, and everything will become dirty. So I used PP initially in my learning days, but now I avoided using PP entirely. Now I straight put chlorine tablet and I let that run for a day. Then I put a whole bottle of hydrogen peroxide, 100 ml or 500 ml, whatever that bottle is. I dump that also, and I let that also run for a day. Third day the tank is pristine. Anything, those two things will wipe out anything in the tank. Alternately, you can also put there is Paraxin 500, there is Tetrasin. So any of these things you can always put. But what happens is, with Tetrasin, it makes the water yellow and brown, but it does not stain anything. But PP will stain. PP is only when live fish are there. I make the water pinkish when there are actual fish in the tank. I don't use PP if there are no fish in the tank, because all PP will do is make everything brown. It will make the tank brown, it will make the filter brown, it will make the sponge brown, it will make the media brown. You have to wash the whole damn thing there in hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah, so with the number of tanks you have, and getting the tanks clean regularly is a tough job. But like you mentioned, you used to follow all the steps while new shipment is coming. So yeah, a good job there. But multi farms, again, my question my question is not answered. I'll still focus on that.
Okay, I'll answer that now. See, what I do, I'm very careful when I do my water changes. I have the mind that I only water change discuss of one country at one day, and then I dip the.
So do you also have a small set of tanks from one farm? For example, a Malaysian tank would be separate, Indonesian farm tanks would be separate.
Yeah, fish are kept separately for the first 3 months till they get used to Mumbai water. I do not mix any fish until it's after 3 months from when they came. Only after 3 months, then for 3 months.
Then you can mix all the fishes.
First they go into the cube where the water level is very low, because when they come out of the airline bags, their water level is low. They are not able to stay afloat in a big tank. So they go into a 18-inch cube where the water level is only 9 or 10 inches.
Right.
So then they get acclimatized there, and after about 4 or 5 days, when I see okay they all set, they all go together into a big tank where also the water level is low. Then after that, after 3-4 days, the water level is raised by 3 inches, then 3 inches. Then eventually they all get acclimatized and settle very nicely and happily. And I make sure that whatever J pipe and everything I'm using, those do not touch the water. And even if they touch the water, they are put into PP, H2P and sanitized completely before being used for another tank. Like I said, I was very unwell. Means there was 15 days I could not stand, and all 4 days I could not stand because of vertigo. So because of my illness, I ended up being very careful with what I did. Like whenever you get a problem, you also get a solution to that problem. So other than the sanitization procedure that I explained, I used to make sure that I don't I used to always dose vitamin C and what do you call that, Melacure from Aqua Nature. I used to make sure I dose those two, and they used to keep the discus all healthy. See, discus also have blood sugars just like humans, but of course it's in a very small proportion, so people don't realize. Sometimes your discus dies from lack of low sugar, but people don't realize that. That's why I keep dosing vitamin C. With vitamin C doses, even if I have not fed my fish for 4-5 days because I was ill, the fish have always been healthy and active because vitamin C is in the water. So it's always keeping them energized. Their blood sugars are not going low. So I believe that the fish also have a level, because I'm suffering from that problem of type 2 diabetes, I have realized that fish also have blood sugar levels, and as long as you are adding vitamin C now you can't overdose and vitamin C, you have to know the right dosage, because the discus liver is very small. If you overdose one shot, the discus will have swollen liver and pass away in a month. So you have to know the right doses.
I'm using vitamin C from Nature. The product is really good. I think 5 ml goes for 200 liters. So likewise, we have different medications for different issues and everything. But when we talk about maintenance, generic maintenance, there are a lot of medicines available, or maybe which needs to be kept handy while keeping discuss. So vitamin C is one of them. We can talk about rock salt. After every water change, we need to have a rock salt. So what other medications can you specify?
Now see, understand the difference in between fresh water and salt water, and why they have different medicines for different diseases, even if they are the same in fresh and salt. Salt water. Now how salt works? Salt dehydrates the virus or the bacteria. It dehydrates it from inside and it dries it up and then kills it. Now if you have salt water, you need different medication, because those bacteria are already used to the salt in the water. Now what happens when you dose Kara Namak all the time in fresh water? Your fish are going to get used to the salt, and the salt is no longer going to work. If you dose salt daily, your fish system is going to get accustomed to the salt, and tomorrow when there's a virus or something, the salt is going to do nothing for you, because your fish are already used to the salt in the water. So you have to dose salt maybe once or twice a month, like okay, one day you select 1st and 15th of the month, or 15th and 30th of the month, or something like that, and you dose salt once, okay, just for the sake of one time every 2 weeks. But never get your fish acclimatized to salt, because then what will happen is, if you have a virus and cross infection, your salt will do absolutely nothing, which would have reduced the problem by 90%. That thing will not work, because your fish is used to. That's why they say, no, don't take antibiotic little at a time. You have to complete the dose, because otherwise your body gets immune to those medicines. Same way the fish get immune to salt. You don't want to dose salt all the time. You want to do it once or twice. Okay, one day you did it, 15 days later you did it. That's all. Don't do it on a daily basis. Otherwise, if tomorrow you have some kind of viral issue, regular medicines will not work, because they work based on some salt. Also remember this list of medicines. When you get always first of all, always have a quarantine tank. If you directly bring a fish from outside and you put it in a tank with your regular fish, you are going to have a wipe at some point. Your hobby is going to go, your wallet is going to go, and probably your bank account is going to go. So what you have to do is, you have to have a quarantine tank where fish from outside are kept separately for 2 to 3 weeks, so that they can get used to your water without having other people's bacteria, other fish bacteria to worry about. And in the meantime, the first thing you do is you dose tetrasin, which is antibacterial, and you dose paraxin 500, which is antibiotic. You dose any antibiotic, you follow the dose. Is it working for 5 days, 7 days? You follow that routine once a day for 7 days. If your fish has any stomach problem, Metrogil IV will work best. 17 rupees, just spray 10% in a cube or 20% in a big tank, and your job is done. Daily you don't have to change the water, because Metrogil deactivates after 8 hours. Means after 8 hours it's pure water. The Metrogil is no longer valid there. So every day you can dose the same bottle, So that is second thing. Third is, if you have some sort of cross bacterial and all, then there is a medicine, I forgot, amproxin or some name like that.
Okay, but there are many antibiotics which really works wonder when we have discus plague or cross contamination kind of issue in the tank. So good point to note about. Always keep your medications handy. It can be helpful at any point of time. You don't have to run at the last moment.
Correct.
So CK भाई, आपने बहुत सारे मल्टीपल फार्म से इंपोर्ट किए, सो जस्ट वांटेड टू नो विच आर दोज फार्म्स एंड व्हाट आर योर नेक्स्ट प्लान ऑफ एक्शन. आई मीन नेक्स्ट प्लान ऑफ एक्शन इन द सेंस योर फ्यूचर प्लान्स. You need to stick to one farm, or you will be continuing to get it from multiple farms like you are doing right now?
See, discus is like a natural animal or whatever. So you will find good discus anywhere. So you need to be open. If you stick yourself to one farm, you will limit the number of good discus you can get, and eventually your clients will get bored of buying the same discus over and over again, because eventually one farm has one line of strains and they don't have new strains coming out all the time. So you can only sell so much to clients. So I always believe that now again, like, I have not made any profit margins, but I call them clients. Now what happens is, with different farms, you get a choice. You get to see which farm is actually giving you good pieces, good discuss, skin quality after 1 year, whether it's looking the same as the day you bought it. So I have imported from BDF in Thailand. I have imported from Jagger in Indonesia, Betawi in Indonesia. Then in Malaysia, I've got Laos fishes that came in. and I have great respect for all these people. And I got the best fishes from Jagger and Lao. From my own imports, the best fishes which actually sold overnight came from Jagger and Lao. Thailand gave good fishes, but the small ones only sold. The big ones really had no market here, maybe because of the strain, not because of any quality issues.
And also, when we talk about bigger discus or adult discus, I think only breeders would be interested, or maybe the person who has a show tank would be interested to buy those. But when you really want to target hobbyists, we need to look at the sizes like 2.5 inches to 4 inches.
So one thing I realized was I actually bought discus of every size, from small to big. So in the meantime, I realized that in India the market is for small only. The big is basically breeder, raiser, reseller and retailer, all playing ringer roses. They are all selling to each other. So there is no big market for big fish. I mean, unless a hobbyist wants very specifically big fish for some planted tank to show off, like Amit Devreji sets up, there is really no such big market for big discus. The more big discus you get, the more you will be stuck with. The profitability is also low and the sales is also low. But small pieces is where everybody is interested, because every hobby's dream is to raise a discus from small to big. I have see, among those who have visited me for discus, I have politicians, MLAs, I have IPS officers, IAS officers, DCPs, ACPs, I have doctors, lawyers and all the top people. But everybody had one thing in common, all wanted small discus. मेरा बड़ा discus देख के वो लोग डर जाते हैं, अरे इतना बड़ा discus, अरे मेरे पास इतना बड़ा tank नहीं है. So what happens is,
when we talk about big discus, there is also cost factor attached to it.
Yeah.
Bigger discus, like everyone says, it's costly, and when it's imported, it has to be costly because of transportation cost and everything attached to it.
Yeah. So like I said, different brands have different qualities. I have found excellent quality only with Jagger and Lao and IP. All the discus that I've kept, these three had very good quality. But what happens is, with breeders, you have to understand one thing. If you buy a discus after 4 inches at the farm, half the time it may not breed. Half the time anything over 4 inches you get may not breed. So to support the breeders, I actually had the exchange facility where they could take pairs, and if the pairs were not laying eggs, I would exchange them for a pair that did lay eggs. So I actually tried to support the breeders that way for no gain of mine, and I was actually taking a risk, because there were many trying to wipe out my stocks because they were very jealous of the help I was trying to give people. So imagine if somebody returns your discus and he has put some cross bacterial deliberately into it, and it comes and wipes out your stocks, you are finished. So what happened was, I had to be very careful. That's why, like I said, from experience, and I have to thank the haters that they were hating me from day one. When I had the local pieces, they hated me. When I was giving pairs to breeders, they hated me. When I started raising imported discus, they hated me. When I actually imported discus, they hated me. In between, when I got GC, they hated me even more. And they hated everything about me. That song is done, I hate everything about you. So basically, those guys represent that song only for me. So because these guys were after me, I always kept everything official. I never did anything underhand, because I was like, these guys will take one chance. If they get any chance, they will jump on me. Recently some guy jumped on my logo, which was only a placeholder. Just after winning GC, everybody was busy.
I see the logo on the background.
Yeah,
it's the same
so,
logo.
Yeah, we made the logo, finally the way we wanted it. We had just kept a placeholder in the meantime, because we were all busy doing other things. My design fellow is a tattooist, so he's busy tattooing everybody. He don't have time to make my fish logo and all. Finally, I sat on his head that, hey boss, you better make my logo. Now it's been a year and a half. So finally we came down to this one. So you have to understand that जब आप लोगों में पॉपुलर होते हो, तो आपके लोगों पे भी किसी को प्रॉब्लम आता है. तो always remember this, that if you are popular, or if you are trying to do the right thing, always do everything officially and correctly, so that tomorrow none of these people can pull you down, because they will not spare one single chance to pull you down. So in this industry, I learned one thing: my own shopping I will do abroad. I do not trust anybody. Like I said, I will buy from P9, I will buy from Wikibuy, who are my close friends. I will buy from my close friends, because I know they won't ditch me. But any third party I don't know, दूर से नमस्कार. I am not buying a single discus for my own collection. Commercially, yes, if they give, अभी 10,000 का discus उसको bulk में निकालना है, 3,000 में दिया, I will agree. हाँ ठीक है, उतने के लिए मैं रिस्क ले लूँगा. But for my own collection, all my pieces will come from abroad or from my friends.
So to conclude, your stay would be, you will be continuing getting the imports from multiple farms, unless you find a one who can fulfill all your requirements, or maybe has one of the best multiple strains as
See, my
sending it to
greatest mistake was going to an importer and giving him carte blanche that okay, you send me whatever, and agreeing to his price, agreeing to his pieces. That was my biggest mistake. So what they started doing, they started giving the good pieces to other people in different cities, and I got sent the leftover. Now I am richer than all these people combined, so I find it very insulting that I am treated last. I could understand if 12 pieces came and they were divided evenly 4 by 3 or whatever. But what I didn't understand is why a guy who does not argue for 1 rupee, pays everything, agrees to every price, whatever charges, shipment charges, everything I agree, and I am being sent leftover. So that I could not understand. Now the second thing is, it came to my imported tank. Now my imported tanks, they are all coming from abroad. They've got blue bottom. Now in blue bottom, what happens? Your fish paper, any low quality. Now these people were getting all low quality fish, not Jagger type fish. So their fish used to go black. The moment they used to come in a blue bottom tank, they used to go black. So they used to tell me, you don't know how to keep Discus. I felt damn insulted. I said, in my white bottom tanks they are going white, but in my blue bottom tanks they are going black. How? I don't know how to keep Discus. The imported fellow is not sending me tanks with white bottom. Why you are blaming me? So these people, what happens? Now they themselves keep white tank and they siphon day in and day out because they have cheap labor there. But hobbies don't have that. No, a rich person will not have a person standing with a pipe and guests are in the house, or people are walking in the house, one guy standing with a pipe and siphoning that tank to glory. Obviously a rich guy will want a good looking tank, and if it comes with a blue bottom, what can we do? Tomorrow if some cop or whoever picks from me, he says he has a problem, I can't tell him, hey boss, you bugger off and all. Those guys will come for me, they'll grab me by the neck. So keeping my clients in mind, I can't go around telling people what my suppliers were telling me. So I said, next time I will myself go and buy the top quality, and I will for my clients, because I do not want ever that day to come where I am being sent all leftover. And these importers, some of them, what they do, what they could not sell 3 or 4 months back, what they got and they couldn't sell, they stick it to you, and you can make out because those fishes are all sukadi. These people don't feed them anything, so those fishes come like this what is that Victoria's Secret model, ekdam sukadi kakadi, bone showing and all. You poke little also, you will see there's no flesh in the middle, like that it comes. So you can make out, hey boss, इसने मेरे को माल चिटका है.
So it's good to conclude that you won't be trusting any of such shippers. It's better to go personally, select the stock, and come with a good number of boxes.
I say this to everybody, you should only buy fish that you physically see in front of you, see the health, you see the fish. Don't ever say मेरे को भेज दो and all, be fast करो, ये करो, वो करो, unless you are dealing in the cheap level fishes and you understand, yes, I'm getting.
Yeah, once you have a trust, you can you can write down your orders and
trust. Like I said, if my friend wants now, suppose Pranav wants to send me from Vasa, I'll tell him be fast because I have faith on him. Like I know that what fish he knows what fish I want and he'll send me that. But I don't have that faith on any third party or something. Those guys will just look to remove what is in that tank. अरे फालतू है तो क्या हुआ, पैसा तो मिल रहा है ना. They actually one importer told me, I'm sending you some free fish, and he sent me some fish, and these fish were literally skeleton. Skeleton means they were like African desert में रहा था बंदा, मौत से 1 मिनट पहले का फोटो लिया होगा ना, वैसे दिखता है. And that sukadi fish, the bugger charged me 3,500 after telling me it's free and all. Then later on in the bill I see 3,500 times 5, and they were sukadi. I actually recovered them. The 5 that came, 4 I recovered. One guy died because इतना sukadi होगा, पेट ही नहीं है, वो पूरा चिटक गया उधर. वो रबर बैंड भी नहीं है, रबर बैंड भी ऐसे खुल जाता है, वो तो पूरा चिटका हुआ. It was like a piece of A4 paper which you had kept in middle. So like this, they
and this fish was imported from a farm.
Yeah, this was supposed to be Indonesian fish. So I agree, when you see the quality of that fish, it is Indonesian, but these people do not take care of it. Your importer, when he gets a import, you should go and pick up your fish fast. If you wait for 2-3 months, now you will get sukadi kakadi fish, because these guys don't know anything. They tell you don't know anything, but actually they don't know anything. They don't even know quarantine. Like they don't know what to. Also be very careful of where you get your food from. Like you see Pranav's Discus, and he also supplies BHM. You can make out his fish eating is BHM. They are also healthy, and he's giving healthy food. There are many people in market, Jari Booty and all, they put in the BHM, and your fish.
BHM is a different topic. We'll
BHM
discuss
is a
on
different
that.
topic, yes, but always be careful where you feed. Basically, I was meaning to say, be careful where you source your foods from. Any food that is open to manipulation, go only for trusted people. Don't look at 100, 200, otherwise you will lose everything. You will come to the last zero.